What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another one just for you. Today's video is going to be another 30-year retrospective where I'm going to be talking about Kool G Rap's first solo album after 3 straight albums with DJ Polo. We talking about 456, which was released 30 years ago today, September 26, 1995. It's also the last album that will ever be released on Cold Chillin' Records by way of Epic Records. I just wanted to throw that little historical note in there before we get started with the album. And with all that being said, we're going to head right into the album, y'all. No delays or anything. We start with song number 1, which in this case would be the intro. G-Rap rolls up into the spot. It's the perfect segue into song number 2, which would be the title track, 456, produced by Dr. Butcher. Now, before I talk about the song itself, let me go into what G-Rap had to say about this song and the album. And this was courtesy of Genius.com. I'm not sure what year this was done, but this is what he had to say, quote unquote. The song and album was based on a New York dice game called CeeLo. 456 was the equivalent to the Ace of Spades and Jack of Spades in Blackjack. It was an automatic winner. Then you could win with trips, a head crack, 2 dice of the same number, and a third dice of 6, and a few other ways. It's just like if somebody titled something Royal Flush, nothing's beating that. After Live and Let Die, I wasn't with DJ Polo anymore, so I've stopped using his name. Rest in peace to DJ Polo as well. I was using Rock Raider at first, then years later I would start using different DJs. Plus back then I wasn't making an album every year. Music was lasting longer back then anyways. Today, not sure what year this was done, like I said. You put an album out and it's already old in 2 or 3 months. Back then you put out an album and dudes were rocking it that whole summer, that winter, and the next summer. That is true. Continuing on, my thoughts on this one. Life itself is a gamble, and G-Rap, he conveyed that very image on this banger, and it is incredible. I've heard many songs that display excellent storytelling, but I don't think I've ever heard a song that turns a simple art such as gambling into one descriptive piece of work, and that's what G-Rap does here, backed by a thumping Dr. Butcher production with well-timed samples courtesy of Nas's already classic New York State of Mind and the Weather Report's Mysterious Traveler. I couldn't possibly quote any individual lines because the song itself is full of ill lines in both verses. Dope stuff here, and it's a 5 out of 5. 456 is in the mix. I'm hitting you with trips. Hair crack, time to get the bread black. I mean, it's so dope, man. I love this song. Next up, we have song number 3, It's a Shame. And once again, it's Big G running the number rackets, wearing Pele jackets, fast loot tactics. I'm well up in the millionaire bracket. I love this joint. G-Rap was a made man coming off of 1992's Live and Let Die. And speaking of that album, I may do a video on that album at some point, but we'll see. But back on topic, G-Rap is the esteemed boss of all bosses here. The first verse really highlights that, and then a broad stroke of fine storytelling. It's a double dose of details. On one end, he's more than willing to dine in all of the riches of the life, quote unquote, which includes all the money, cars, clothes, women, drugs, you name it. But on the flip side, he lets you know he's not 100% satisfied with having to make these choices, i.e., it's a damn shame what I got to do to get the money. I remember thinking this was one of the dopest things I ever heard when I first heard it, and the wordplay from this man is nothing short of amazing. It still holds up today. Another 5 out of 5 song. Next up, we have song number 4, Take 'Em to War, featuring B1 and Grimm. Shit ain't never gonna change. Fuck it. What we gotta do? We gotta take 'em to war. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Things take a gangstified turn on this one, featuring an awesome sample courtesy of Divine Image by David Axelrod. And the fact that a song like that can be flipped into some gangster shit is noteworthy in itself. Now, the guests, B1 and Grimm, they do bring dope verses to the table, but hot damn, G-Rap just came in with an ill closing verse. Definitely tight stuff here. And with this being the third straight 5 out of 5 rated song, that puts it into elite status right there. And I'm not sure if I ever mentioned this in any one of my other videos, but I'll be talking about that more as I do these type of videos. Next up, song number 5, another one produced by Dr. Butcher. This one is called Executional Style. Look, let me tell you something. Not only does this song go hard, but I mean, the bars on this song are so hard. I think they're a little bit too hard for YouTube. Now, that might be me being a little bit dramatic, but that's how hard this song is. And I mean, you want to talk about aggressive from a lyrical standpoint, this is it right here. And those who know this album know exactly what I'm talking about. And another thing about this song is that to this day, I swear the other guy on this hook sounds like DJ Polo, or is it just me? Y'all let me know. But continuing on, man, like I said earlier, G-Rap, he's a made man, but don't let that fool you. Lyrically, this appropriately titled banger finds G-Rap at his most thugged out self, even before such a term was created. And this was something straight from the Live and Let Die playbook, and it worked like an aggressive charm. Another 5 out of 5 song. Next up, we have song number 6, For the Brothers, produced by T-Ray. A. Tap the bottom of the bottle for the brothers. Keep it real on the street money and look out for one another. Genius.com, they accurately describe this song in a nutshell when they said, quote unquote, it tells the story through Cool G's eyes as he witnessed the individuals he grew up with succumb to the drug life and end up either dead or in jail. A popular theme of gangster rappers is to depict the struggle through their lyricism and the fortune of escaping a life many could not. That is an accurate description of this song. And I've always been under the impression that the stories told by G-Rap on this song were based in reality, and it does add an effective layer to this song. And of course, it came with a nice sample courtesy of Soul Size by Art Farmer. Great song. Another 5 out of 5 song, and I got to do it one more time before I move on to song 7. Tap the bottom of the bottle for the brothers. Keep it real on the street money and look out for one another. Love this song. Next up, we have Blowing Up in the World, produced by Buck Wild, another underrated producer. And as far as Rags the Richest song goes, this one was no different from any other songs of this caliber at the time. But of course, the lyricism of Kool G-Rap sets his apart from everyone else's. It's a very good song, but before I move on to the next classic, let me talk about G-Rap for a moment, obviously, because that's who this video is talking about. It's really a shame that he didn't blow up in hip-hop like he should have, and I don't blame anyone if they happen to name him as one of their most underrated MCs of all time. Hell, he's in my top 10. Yes, he has some classics under his belt, and he has influenced a great number of artists, including the guests on the next song, but in between transitioning record labels and an unfortunate lack of true promotion from someone with his skill set, he never really had that true breakout moment that he deserved to have, even dating back to the late 80s with the Juice Crew. It's good that longtime fans have really kept his name out there. Yeah, I just had to say that for a minute. And this song, Blowing Up in the World, 4 out of 5. And next up, song number 8, also produced by Buck Wild, Fast Life, featuring Nas. Y'all know I'm going to talk about this one. This is one of the dopest collaborations you'll ever hear. This is the other side of It's a Shame, in my opinion. Plus, you had that surface sampled classic courtesy of Happy, featuring the Boss G-Rap bringing Nas along for the ride. And Nas and G-Rap, both of these cats were fully indulging in the life of riches, almost as if Nas was an underboss here. And speaking of Nas, this gifted MC, y'all know I'm going to talk about my boy. This gifted MC, he was already in Nas Escobar mode here. And how about this? Now when I think about it. After dropping Illmatic in 94 and coming with the name change, Nas himself was a made man when It Was Written came out on July 2nd, 1996. Now how about that for some continuation? This is another piece of hip-hop excellence right here. Classic, 5 out of 5 song. Continuing on to song number 9, we got Ghetto Knows. This was produced by Naughty Shorts. G-Rap, he goes the storytelling route again, almost in an interrelated fashion. It's like the first half, he's talking about the ghettos of New York, the city that never sleeps, and the somewhat usual circumstances of crime and related things evolving with their life. Then the second half finds him telling an extreme story of true survival. It's another dope song, 4 out of 5. Next up, song number 10, we got The Butchers remix to It's a Shame, and it's basically the same lyrics from the original, only this time around, Dr. Butcher came through with an ill sample of Ryo Kawasaki's Bamboo Child. It's not on the level of the original, but it's still dope as hell, and I give this one 4.5 out of 5. And to close the album, we have song number 11, which is Money on My Brain, featuring B1 and Grimm. This was also produced by Dr. Butcher. And one of my only criticisms of this song, or the album I should say, is that this was placed in the wrong slot, because This should have been song number 10, and the Butcher's mix of It's a Shame should have closed the album. But with all that being said, we've all heard songs like this before, but when they can offer something different from other songs talking about the same subject, which in this case is money, the results can be very good, and that does describe this song. B1 has some ill lines, and of course, G-Rap, he came with a money-infested verse, which was fire as well. This was another very good song on an album featured with straight goodness, and it's a 4 out of 5 song. Man, what more can I say about this album? I love this album. This is his finest solo work ever. I know he did Roots of Evil after the fact. I know he did the Giacana Story and some other albums, but from a solo standpoint, without DJ Polo by his side, this represents his best work. If 1992's Live and Let Die showcased the true gangster side of G-Rap, then 1995 showed him as a complete made man, and that's fully realized on this album. It's backed by some tight production. G-Rap hadn't missed one step on the lyrical side of things, and like I said, this is definitely one of his best albums. It was one of 1995's best albums, as picked in the Source magazine's year-end review. Y'all know my favorite issue of the Source of all time. And like I said, it has aged so well, and longtime fans revisit this as soon as possible if you haven't played in a while. Newer fans, this is a strong recommendation to check out. I give it 4.5 mics. And on that note, y'all think I'm done? Not by a long shot. What I'm holding in my hand right now is a copy of the October 1995 issue of the Source magazine that had Raekwon, Method Man, and the RZA on the front. A cat by the name of Rico Black did a review of the 456 album, so I'm going to go ahead and read this verbatim. Brother still sling rocks and stick hoes, so G-Rap is still rhyming about it. Of course, on his 4th album, really his first solo album. He doesn't just rap, he paints pictures. No, he paints big-ass ghetto murals. If you know anything about the cool genius of rap, you know that he is the predecessor to Biggie Smalls. Back in the 80s, G was telling stories in his records with his 195 pounds of beef, curly hair, chinky eyes, and gold teeth details, leaving you feeling like you had just watched a 4-minute movie instead of listening to this nigga rap. If you like stories of drugs, bitches, and money, then you're going to love this album because it's what you get on every song. But don't get me wrong, G-Rap is still a genius. On the first single, It's a Shame, G drops lyrics all over the track about selling dope and crackheads in the trife life. G-Rap explains that it's all about living in the lap of luxury, but it's a shame what has to be done to live that lifestyle. And that's exactly what I said during my review. Money on My Brain with this ill bass line has G-Rap flexing his skills while rapping about his lavish possessions. The subject has become common for G through the years, but he always finds new ways to flip it. Fast Life is fat simply because it's G-Rap and Nas rhyming together. These two players from Queens have both their distinctive rhyme styles no matter how many kids try to bite them. The last verse is extraordinary as they switch back and forth old school style. The bottom line is Kool G-Rap has done it again. He always gives you dope-ass tracks dating back to It's a Demo, and with 456, it looks like shit ain't never gonna change. This was a good review by Rico Black. He gave this 4 mics. That's a respectable rating, but it is a little low. Like I said, I give it 4.5 mics. And on that note, we've come to the end of this video. Like I said, this album, 456, from a solo standpoint, represents G-Rap's best work, probably his most creative album too. Lyrically, he was in a zone. He had lost his step from the Live and Let Die days, the Wanted Dead or Alive days, the Road to the Riches days. The production was on point. Like I said, the guest appearances, well, B1 and Grimm, they did their thing, but guest appearances wise, Nas on Fast Life, that's some classic stuff right there. Can't go wrong with that. G-Rap, I thank you for this album. And everybody that had a part in this, I want to say thank you. You gave us a classic, and it'll always stand the test of time. And with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get the video closed. Man, I enjoyed doing this video. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. Definitely let me know your thoughts on this album specifically and Kool G-Rap in general. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and remember, the power of the mind is valuable, and I'll see you on the next video.